The Tsaritsa, the Cryo Archon, arguably the most anticipated character in all of Genshin Impact's history, soon to be revealed, and with a release being not so far in the future. Please don't make me wait 3 years. I thought I'd take the time in this video to discuss all the aspects of my favourite, unreleased and unseen, character in Genshin's story. I'm going to be looking at her design, Snezhnaya itself, even some batshit theories like what her kit will be and how we'll interact with her in the story. So just a bit of a brief history on my story around Hoyo itself. I'm in love with the Tsaritsa and, arguing Mr. Vasui itself, the whole story behind them. Not you, Dottore. So I started HI3, Honkai Impact 3rd, back in 2021 with the Evangelion event. I own Asuka. Sucks to be you if you missed it, although I didn't get the lance, so I'm kind of regretting that. Now, it seems kind of out of place for me to mention that, but, Honkai Impact 3rd, one of the most important characters in the game is Bronya Zychik. Now, Bronya, if you're going to guess my favorite character completely. So, after picking up Genshin in like late 2023 and learning about, the Fatui, the Tsaritsa, Snezhnaya, whole lore, I just became in love with it. It's going to be Bronya. It's going to be Bronya. Of course it will be. I'm a sucker for snow and ice, and I mean, Dragonspine's my favorite location. Look, knowing the Cryo rules over a land of snow, I'd hope she has white hair. And if there's one thing that I like in a character, it's if they have white hair. So let's get on to where we'll see Snezhnaya itself in the game. So, I mean, the first option, which is the craziest option, and personally my most hopeful option, is the fact that it'll be released in the 5.0 patch cycle. Now, I'm assuming the Volcano and the Ian Sun tribe will come out in 5.5. I think then 5.6 could be Nod Cry, maybe 5.7, although I really doubt it. I think it'll be 5.5 Volcano, 5.6 Nod Cry, 5.7 Skirk Release and Dainsliff Quest, 5.8 Dragonspine Summer Event, and then 6.0 more Nod Cry or Snezhnaya. Now, the more realistic option is that, Nod Cry is in 6.0, and from there on, we'll move throughout Snezhnaya. The worst option, and this is the one where I will cry, and I think many of us will be disappointed, is if we spend the whole 6.0 patch cycle in Nod Cry itself. It is an island. Helka told us that it's part of Snezhnaya, but it's an island. So I hope that we don't do that. But you never know. Hoyo have been going weird recently, especially with the Netland story quest having a bit of an open ending. So maybe we do just spend the whole of the 6.0 patch cycle in Nod Cry, and then 7.0 we move into Snezhnaya itself. Okay, so now moving on to what the Tsaritsa will look like, what her design is going to be like, who she's going to be based off of, assuming that Hoyo go the XP route. So starting off with that, we could have the Tsaritsa looking like Bronya because she's the GOAT and she's the CEO. And she's my favorite. And if she isn't Bronya, I'm going to be really sad. Uh, there's many reasons to why this could be the case. That stupid last Senora short that people keep using to say that Tsaritsa's already been revealed, that's fan made. I wish people would stop spreading this around as official. It isn't official, it's fan made. The Tsaritsa does not look like that. I mean, I wouldn't mind too much, but I want the Tsaritsa to look more like Bronya than what that did. I am going to talk about leaks real quick. So if you don't want to, hear any leaks, just skip to this time stamp in the video. It should be on screen right now, and everything's fine. Okay, so now that the people that don't want to hear leaks are gone, apparently in the beta of the game, this is way back in 2020, 2019, whatever, it was said in Child's voice line that the Tsaritsa was called Bronya, and apparently she'll use a medium girl model. So, Bronya Ritsa fans, it's not over. It's looking promising. I mean, you know, let's go. So mainly the reasons it could be Bronya. There was a great comment by a redditor who commented on a post on one, I think the main Genshin Impact Reddit, just asking what we think the Tsaritsa will look like, and basically just debunked the whole idea that it could be anyone other than Bronya, and really why it should be Bronya herself. I'll put it on screen so you can read it. I think is a very good reasoning. But yeah, I hope this guy's true. I want it to be Bronya, as I said earlier in the video. Bronya is my favorite. I'm saving to see six of Tsaritsa, and if she's not Bronya or an original design, I'm going to be really sad. But then, obviously, moving on from that, we could have it be Anna Shariak from Honkai Impact Third as well. Personally, I think this is bullshit. Apparently, the Honkai Impact Third community hate her. I don't really know the validity of that. Again, I just saw it on a Reddit comment. Don't kill me. If you play Honkai Impact Third and you hate her, can you let me know why? That'd be really appreciated. But yeah, she's controversial anyway. I did read a discussion on why people don't like her. I'm not going to go into it because I'm not too versed on Honkai Impact Third lore. I just kind of skipped through most of it. But yeah, people don't like her, and I've heard that she was only in like 2 chapters of the story, so I really doubt they would make someone as important as the Cryo Archon, the Tsaritsa, the head of Fatui, Anna Shariak, who is in 2 chapters and looks like Kiana Kaslana, when we already have a character that looks like Kiana Kaslana, and Bronya is their like nepo baby. Why would they not make her the Tsaritsa? I don't understand. Now, there's obviously a third option, which is that she's an original design. I mean, I would prefer it to be Bronya, but if not, as long as she has white hair, I don't really mind. Now, if they go for the original design route, we could have a cryo motif. I think that makes sense. But again, look at Mavwika. Other than her red hair, do you really think she's the Pyro Archon? Because I wouldn't. But, I hope she has a very obvious cryo motif. I want her to look a lot more modest than Mavwika, because arguably I think she's kind of Guna bait. But I hope that she looks a bit more regal, fits kind of the queen aesthetic. But even if she doesn't, I hope that they'd use a design like this Bronya design from I think Gungo Z. I'm not sure where it came from. Again, I was just browsing the Tsaritsa wiki page, and someone commented this. So if they're going to go with the more modern design, I hope they go something like this. I suppose we should probably move on to what materials would be required for her. Now, let's just get the most obvious and boring answer out of the way. Probably going to be some new ones. I mean, like, Mavwika used the whistles from the Natlan people. You know, it's boring, but it's probably the right answer. I mean, we could have Fatui materials, considering that she's supposed to be like the overseer of the Fatui above Piero. I've already pre-farmed loads of Fatui materials, so if that's the case, I'll be very happy. Farina proved that Archons can use prior mats. She uses Whopper flower materials; they're not native to Fontaine, so realistically, she could use anything. I think what's more likely is, using slimes or again Fatui materials. If you're wondering why slimes, there's a theory that the elemental slimes in game represent the Archon's power. So the Geo slime has a shield. The Animo slime explodes into a vortex when you kill it, a bit like Venti's ult. I mean, the Pyro slime has an inactive state, a bit like Mavwika, and the Hydro slime shoots bubbles, I guess. Some of them are a bit far fetching, but if we go by that the case, then the Tsaritsa might be a shielder like Zhongli, because the Cry Slime also has a shield, and Zhongli uses slimes to ascend, so maybe the Tsaritsa will use slimes as well. I'm not sure. Personally, I'd prefer it to be Fatui materials, and I think it makes sense. But if we're being perfectly honest, it's probably like, I don't know, some new like Shinejinai Wolf or something that she uses. But yeah, anyway, moving on to artifact set. We don't know what this is going to be, but it'll probably be the Nod Cry set. Considering 6.0 will come out, and assuming she comes out in 6.3, it'll probably be whatever the main DPS or maybe support set is for 6.0. We'll just have to wait and see. I assume it's probably going to be something to do with these Frost Moon Scions and the ancient Moon Remnants power that the Nod Cry people use. Maybe the series has a more OP version of that. I guess we won't know till we get there. But you know, if it's not the Nod Cry set, Blizzard Stray will probably be good for her if you're running her as a main DPS. Um, if Skirk's cryo, we might get a new artifact set for her, and maybe the Tsaritsa can use that as well, because I mean Skirk's probably going to be a main DPS. If she's not, then they're doing a massive disservice to her character. But it's all up in the air, to be honest. These are all just hypotheticals. And in terms of like what our ascension like picking material be, like flowers, I assume it'll just be some Snezhnaya exclusive flower. I don't really know what any of them will look like. I'm not really a flower expert, but maybe it'll be something cool like some frozen flowers, maybe some like icicle snowflake petals that we have to use to ascend her. That would be cool. Maybe even potatoes. Who knows? Right, so this is where the video kind of derails a bit. Now I'm going to be talking about stuff like her kit and her story. First, I suppose we'll go on to a kit. Um, Obviously, we don't know anything. Other than the slime theory, there's not really much to go on. Uh, if you want to know my hopeful kit, here's what I want. I want her to be a cryo sword user. Obviously, she should be cryo archon, but I hope her skill is some form of cryo infusion, especially if she's a sword user, a bit like Ben at C6. When he puts his ult down, you get the pyro infusion. Um, Maybe the cryo infusion will be ult or a C6 like Farina. Now, I hope she has icicles coming out of her with her skill, out of her crown. Following the slime theory, the cryo slimes do shoot icicles sort of out of their crown. So, yeah, I think this probably is a fair detail to make about the Tsaritsa. I hope that when she's on field, it will do more damage to sort of like show her power and make her main DPS option a bit more viable. Maybe she'll be like Mavuika and have some altered state if you use a skill on field. Uh, as for her ultimate, obviously it probably will deal big cryo damage and do a big pyro application. If you wanted a design wise, I'm thinking maybe something supernova related, which is big wave of cryo. Could be good for shatter or whatever gimmick Snezhnaya has. I don't know. I'm thinking the supernova because of the whole Archon space theme. Zhongli has his meteor. Mavuika becomes the sun. I don't really know what Farina does, but there was a theory anyway. Um, Now, going on to the Snezhnaya gimmick, I can't tell, but if I had to make a guess, it's probably not going to be like Night Soul. That seems way too specific to Natlan. But it could be a form of elemental manipulation because of the Tsaritsa's power to create delusions and, the Frostmoon Scions. Maybe they've got some form of elemental manipulations. Um, I don't know. Maybe it'll be Fatui members get a big DPS increase. I mean, the way Hoyo's going, no one knows what the gimmick's going to be. Uh, the other options for a kit could be that she's a shielder, again, because of the slime theory. Maybe that means she'll be a catalyst. She could even be a polearm user, because Venti talks about stealing the Cryo Archon Scepter. I mean, she could be anything, to be honest, but I think realistically, those three are the most likely. Sword, because we only have one sword Archon so far. Catalyst because Shielder, Sitlali power creep, and Polon because of the Scepter. I mean, she could be a front loaded DPS like Mavuika because she waged war against the world, but I don't know, man. Now moving on to the cons. Again, this is all crazy, but we'll go with it anyway. Uh, the cons could end up making her more like a DPS, basically like every Archon, but you never know. They might do something different. I personally hope that she starts as a support and moves more into a DPS like every other Archon. But I don't know. Maybe her kit will be based around the idea that because she has more Gnosis, she can do something crazy, like, I don't know, do an Animo or like HSR Bronya. I really doubt that, but it's certainly a possibility. But yeah, in terms of the consolations specifically, I assume her C1 will be quality of life. Maybe, her cryo application or freezing without hydro on her skill will last for longer or will have a bigger hit range. C2 will make her really good, as every Hoyo C2 does. Probably the best cryo spot for any team. Finally some Shenhe power creep. C3 and C5 are obvious talent and ult levels. C4 might be a damage buff for her. Most Archons do have that, but it could be something to do with a cryo application, or maybe if she's a front loaded DPS, maybe it'll be more supportive We don't know, but I think it's a better option to say it'll probably buff just her ultimate. C6 will be a bit of a yap fest. Every Hoyo C6 these days is a massive yap fest. It'll be like 5 paragraphs just to tell you that she's the best cryo DPS in the game. I don't know, maybe C6, she'll go full Bronya, Hersher of Reason, and summon an orbital cannon, and it'll blow up everything on field with a massive cryo bomb. Now, finally, we're going to get into how I expect this story to go. Now, starting off, I expect that we will hear her, or at least see her, in the 5.8 teaser. At the end of every patch cycle and the last live stream for the last version, we always get a teaser of some sorts about the next region. Obviously, if we're going with the idea that Nod Cry will be next, it's still in Snezhnaya, but maybe we won't see her. But I hope that it will be 5.8 teaser. And if I hear Kana Asumi in Japanese, I am going to go crazy. I will not stop posting and talking about it. It will be insane. Anyway, I assume that we'll go to Nodcry and she won't be there because it's a bit of an independent region. She probably doesn't care about it at all. But, we might see a cutscene of her dealing with the Fatui when we get to Nodcry and work through that Archon quest there. Or maybe it'll be an interlude Archon quest. I don't know. So eventually, after we're done with Nodcry, I assume we're going to go to Snezhnaya's mainland. I doubt she'll be as common or as Mawiko or Venti and Zhongli, and maybe even I guess you could count Farina in that as well. But I think we'll still see her at least publicly once. Maybe she'll make an announcement to her people that she's got all the no-seas and her plans just about to get into the final action. I assume probably our first confrontation will be in the I'm going to probably butcher this, but the Zapolnyani Palace. So that looks pretty cool. It's in the Winter Nights Lazo trailer. I hope it looks really cool on the inside as well. Bit different to Fontaine, but similar architecture, I suppose. Now, again, this sounds kind of obvious, but there's either two ways we'll go with this. We'll either work with her and find out that Fatui have been scheming against her, or, we'll go against her as everybody expects. Now, if we work with her, we might become the 10th Harbinger. We work with her to fight against Celestia. This might have something to do with the vacant 10th Harbinger spot. Maybe our siblings taking the 10th Harbinger spot. Well, we don't know until we learn more about it, until we get to Snezhnaya. But if we work on the 10th Harbinger slot, could be a good opportunity for us to get to know the Tsaritsa. Maybe we'll realize that she isn't a bad person and that what the Fatui were saying were right. Maybe Celestia will finally make their move. We'll get a great climactic finale. Maybe she could be the weekly boss of Snezhnaya the first half. We have to fight her in a normal and a delusion state. That would be a really cool concept. Think about how cocolia and HSR. Now, I really, 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 really hate cocolia, and I really hope the Tsaritsa is not a cocolia XP. If it is, I'm on the verge of deleting my Genshin account. But if we go with the fact that she could be like cocolia, she could have a cool transformation or ice armor. Maybe we'll have to fight her like that. That'll be a delusion state. Her gnosis gives her cryo power, but maybe a delusion gives her animo power like HSR Bronya. Or if we get quantum and imaginary, maybe a delusion is a quantum or quantum one to fit with other versions of Bronya from other games. Again, that's assuming that that's Bronya, but you never know. She might use all the power of all the gnosis in a boss fight. That'd be pretty cool. She could have different phases and different attacks mimicking the Archon's powers. But we'll have to find out when we get there overall. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Quite different from some of the content I normally see. If you open up my channel, you just find Mario Kart Wii, Overwatch, and like 2 Genshin videos maybe. But yeah, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you've watched this far, I assume you like Genshin and you probably care about the Tsaritsa a little bit. So if you want to see more Genshin content from me, let me know. Comment down below, like the video, subscribe, all the classic stuff. I'll be doing more Tsaritsa content when she comes out for sure. My favorite character. And I just want to show my love towards Snezhnaya and itself completely. I might cover Genshin lore as well if this video does well. So if you want to see some Genshin lore deep dives, let me know. It's a massive interest of mine. I'm always keeping up with the lore. I mean, like the day this video was recorded, the Imaginarium Theatre reset, and we got the new fortune slip, which I was already analyzing earlier to myself. So yeah, if you wanna see more of this content, let me know. Thanks for watching. Unlike, unsubscribe, and don't comment. Click off the video. Goodbye.